Okay, I'd like to begin by saying thanks for purchasing one of my flyer kits, and in this video I'm going to show you how I think is the easiest way of putting it together. I do have a couple extra things here. I like this 2P10 thick adhesive. It's kind of a super glue, and with a clamp it clamps and holds in about 30 seconds. I also have a utility knife that I recommend having on hand, or an X-Acto, to help pop out those pieces, maybe clean up some little tabs or whatever that are hanging around that you don't like, and then a sanding block. If you want to clean up the part slightly, just give it a quick little sand and it'll brighten it right up. Okay, so if you look at your directions, it starts with the rudder. There's 5 pieces to the rudder. We've got our engraving on the outside. I like to have the smoky side on the outside, so I'm going to put it down. This would be a good time to put a couple drops of glue right on those tabs sticking out, and we're going to slide these in and slide it in there. Hold it together, and then I think it's is it R3 goes on the top. This is the same piece, they're both exchangeable, goes on the bottom. Little drop of glue on those receiving notches. Oh, and that one fell off, and just align it and slip it in. We'll put this one back on real quick, and I also have rubber bands that I'm going to use for glue for right now. Kind of holds things together, because we'll come back to this and it'll be held together. Okay, we're going to move on to our elevator, and we've got part E1, E2, 3 parts of E3, and 2 E4s. And at this point you want to decide, am I going to put this thing together to display it on the base or hanging? And if it's hanging, you want to put your engraving ribs down. I'm going to build this whole thing like the directions show, with the ribs up so it'll sit on the base. And if you look real closely, you'll see that there are marks on that leading edge, and there's also marks on this bent part of our part E3, and those have to match up. So we're going to just slip these in and making sure they're all down. Here again, we've got matching marks that match with these ones. Just slide those in, aligning everything up. And a little bit of pressure to push them in. Okay, we got that put together, and at this point, a little drop of glue on the ends of, I think that's E4, and we're going to slide it on. And at this point, we're only doing one end. Okay, we're going to come back to that here in a little bit. Just makes it a little easier, but I am going to put a rubber band on here that, as if it was getting glued up. Okay, we're going to set that to the side, and we're going to move on to our motor assembly and pulleys. And we've got two parts M and parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and part M5, which is not marked, but it'll all assemble the same way. So we're going to slip part 1 on both of these guys, and then we're going to stack. And you notice that there's the rounded ends that are where the cylinders were, are going to stack on top of each other. So you got to align it and just stack, making sure the rounded parts stack on top of each other evenly. Number 4. Okay, I would put a little drop of glue right on that number 4 and stack number 5 on top of it. Okay, we can put our pulley on there. Press it on. Okay, then we're going to come back to our pulley assembly here in a little bit, but we're going to set that aside, let it dry, and bring out the frame. And what is there, 5, 6 pieces to that. The Wright brothers, they had that elevator lever on the left side, and I know it's on your right, but it's my left. And at this point, we've got 3 receiving notches on the bottom of the frame that we're going to slip these into. Okay, a little drop of glue on the receiving notch right in there, and set it in. Just a little drop of glue is all that's needed. You get too much glue and it looks all glued and gobbered up in the end. You'll be happy that you just used a real small drop. But you gotta align these. And slip them in. Okay, then we're going to bring in F4. Again, I'm going to put the smoky side down. Really doesn't matter. The part is reversible, so whether it's up or down, it's up to you. Okay, we're going to let that glue up a little bit. So I'm going to set it aside, and we're going to bring in the wings and motor assembly. So we got part W1 here, and W1 has 8 receiving holes up towards our leading edge, and the Wright brothers had that motor over on the right side. So we're going to bring in our motor assembly and put it on those 4 holes on the right side. I know it shows like it's your left, but it is the right. And then we're going to slip our pulley assembly in that center hole right in there and bring in parts S1. And they also have marks on the bottom, okay, which match up with the marks on the wing. So I'm going to slip that into there and into the receiving hole on the pulley, like so, making sure that mark is down. Slip it in and slip it on. Okay, then we're going to bring in our struts, our S parts, and the long one goes on that leading edge, and you can see how it's going to align right in there. I think this is, what part is this? And whether you do it in line or start on one end, to put a little drop of glue on all 6 of these little knobs that stick in. Okay, just align it and set it in there. Here again, a little drop of glue on all of those and put them into our receiving holes. Again, you want a couple drops of glue on there and set it in. Okay, then we're going to bring in our top wing, W2, and I'm going to kind of speed through this process a little bit because it takes some time and some patience and aligning, and I believe it's easiest to start on one end and looking through this hole, find it and press it in. Press it in. Same with our pulley assemblies. You're going to just holding that down and pressing it in, and aligning everything. Where is it? I don't see it. There it is. And all the way across. Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna speed this process up and bring in a assembled wing. So you'll get that all the way across, flip that up with a few drops of glue, and I'm gonna bring in the assembled wing. And once you got it all put together, put a couple rubber bands on each end and let that glue up. Okay, while that's drying, we're going to bring our frame back in with our elevator, and remember we left one end off of this thing. It keeps wanting to fall off because there's no glue on it, but we'll slip it back into place. And maybe not. So we've got all these notches, or these 2 notches that are going to slip through the frame. And what part number is that? That is part F5 right here. Where'd it go? Where'd part F5 go? Here it is. Part F5. Once we get these slid through the frame, we've got the receiving hole on the frame and receiving holes on our elevator. Maybe it's easier to put it on its side. Lining that up. There's no pressure on this. It slides through and through that hole of the frame. Just gotta get it lined in there. There it goes. Okay, so I'm going to bring it up where you can see it. And we got that part F5 running through there. And then with a drop of glue, go ahead and put these pieces in now. And that doesn't want to stay. But with a little bit of glue, it will stay in place. I don't know why this one's not wanting to stay. I'll try it again. Alright, so we got the elevator put together, and we're going to bring in our wing assembly, and we have some receiving holes that you can see on the bottom. They're a little bit bigger than the other ones. They are going to go on our frame right in here. And then we have some notches in the front of the wing, top and bottom. And if you slide that right over the top of it, and it's just a matter of getting it aligned, making sure these guys aren't holding you up, and getting those hooked in the back. Everything has to get aligned. Okay, there it fell into place. I'm going to move that out of the way for a minute. Alright, and we're down, making sure these guys are aligned. Our front pieces are aligned. We're going to slip it forward. And lock it in. Where that side went. Press it down, and there it goes. Okay, a little drop of glue on the top, and you align that. There that side went in, and there that side went in. Okay, so we got that. Let's see where our directions take us. We're going to get that all aligned, and then it says to get parts R5, which is this guy that's going to go on this top wing. A little drop of glue and press it on. R6, same thing, a little drop of glue on there. Press it in. And we can go to the rudder. Okay, and if you notice, there's an angle on that bottom edge, and that bottom edge is going to go down. You press it down a little bit and slip that in. Okay, we're going to go to the propeller, and this one we have the propeller is going to go on, and then we've got these two little circle parts 4 we're going to slip one on there, a drop of glue on your part P1. You slip that on, it'll glue up, won't come off, but still allow that propeller to spin. So we're going to do the same thing on this opposite side. And we pretty much have our plane assembled. Again, you want to put a drop of glue on there before you put this piece on. And just slide it in. Leaving it a little bit loose so that propeller will turn. And we're going to go on to our base. All these kits come with a base, and we're going to call that B1. I'm going to lay it flat, the smoky side out. I'm going to put a drop of glue on each of those holes and slip it in. Press that in there again. Little drop of glue on those tabs maybe. Slip it in. Little drop of glue on all 4 tabs. Find your smoky side, put it out, and then we're going to align and press these in. So you got to remember, it's all laser precision, and takes a little patience putting these things together. So we've got these receiving holes on the top. You can take your assembled plane and slip it right on the frame, and slip that thing in there, and there you have an assembled Wright Brothers 1903, the first heavier than air flyer. Again, I want to thank you for purchasing one of my kits, and I hope this was helpful. Enjoy.